You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV Network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Keith. Johnson.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, and streaming live on Ustream, this is AFTERBUZZ TV for Revenge. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest revenge news and gossip. If you'd like to buzz in on tonight's show, you can buzz us at 424-256-1729. That's 424-256-1729. And now, picking up where the show leaves off and the buzz continues, it's AFTERBUZZ TV for Revenge.
What up, AfterBuzzers? How are you doing? Are you getting your revenge out there? Because if not, I think you should be. For those of you listening, this is Phil Svitek, and I am joined by
Michelle Macedo. You can follow me on Twitter at Macedo Music.
There you go, starting the plugs early. So, another great episode that we just got to enjoy from Revenge, and it's episode 2 called Trust. And you know what? I don't trust Michelle anymore.
I don't trust Phil anymore, but I mean, I never actually did. But we are only on episode 2.
My co-host immediately goes into plugs. That's not how the show goes.
Oh, shut up.
I can't even trust
you. Don't trust me anyway, so it doesn't matter. Maybe you're right.
All right. Well, if you don't mind, why don't we talk about Lydia first? Because I thought, I want to talk about that because it sort of establishes the show to a degree.
All right. So,
in the regard of, I say that because, last time we speculated, will we see Lydia again? Obviously we will. And so I think, a lot of these characters that get, quote, cut off, come back into play.
Well, right. Last we checked, her lawyer or detective or something,
Victoria's.
Picked Lydia up on the street corner, like a prostitute.
Yes, but I don't think Victoria certainly doesn't know that.
Yeah. So what do we know what that's about, or is that just one of the many mysteries?
Let's save that for when we actually talk about Victoria specifically.
Okay.
But in terms of Lydia,
that was like the only scene she had.
It was, but we got earlier on that she's calling, Victoria's husband, and then obviously he meets her and she's mad because I see you still pick up you still return phone calls. So she's quite mad about that. Now in terms of, I think she didn't have a lot to do this episode, but I think it's setting something up.
She lost everything. Her husband found her cheating on her, and so it triggered something in the prenup that says she gets nothing. She has nothing. But she talks to Victoria's husband, who she had the affair with, and she asks him to write her a big check. I feel like that would be kind of awkward.
That would be, but, he's the reason why she doesn't get it. You know what I mean? Like, it's her fault that she was supposed to not cheat, but guess what? So he was also not supposed to cheat either.
Yeah, so what do you think about the classic guy line? Well, what do you want me to do about it?
Write me a big check.
Yeah, exactly. He was like, well, too bad for you.
Do you think he did or didn't? I mean, I think...
did what?
Wrote her the check.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
He's the type of guy that would. And I think...
I hope that we all know that I guess they don't feel that bad or have conscience. Yes, thank you.
But again, I think, nice setup. Not a lot with it this week, but I think it'll definitely come into play next time. And I think I think the goal for her is to get back to the Hamptons.
Yeah, definitely. She wants to get back, but with something, obviously. That's why I think she's coming back with money. She bid on the house, didn't she, with that money?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, shall we move on to Victoria?
Yes, why don't we? Victoria, by the way, as we're watching this, Michelle looked. I said Victoria and Emily are going to go at a head-to-head in the season finale. And you're like, what? Are you giving anything away? I'm like, no, that's just the show. That's what's going to happen. You could see the writing on the wall.
Well, they're going at a head-to-head now, like from the beginning. But you didn't say that. You said they're going to kill each other.
Well, I mean, that's...
So I thought you were giving away something that you had seen or heard.
No. For those of you listening, that is not...
Not a spoiler alert.
I mean, maybe, kind of like... It's the ultimate classic thing. The good guy and the bad guy, they butt heads throughout the whole season, and then eventually one of them has to die in order for the show to be a show.
If we're watching superhero cartoons.
No, it's true. Well, okay, something in the form of death, okay? For Lydia, right? Getting rid of her, and she's pretty much considered dead in that society.
Yeah.
So something like that in that society. We'll talk about Herman later on, but, he's, by his standards, considered absolutely dead. Mm-hmm. He flushed his company, basically, because of this stupid investment. And that's the whole point. Emily, she's trying to bring down Victoria slowly but surely.
It's true, but Victoria asked her over for tea. She said she doesn't trust something about her.
Before we, since we brought up the detective point, if you don't mind, what an interesting conversation that her and the detective had at the polo match.
Oh, right. Oh, you said to remember this line.
Yes,
and
I
the
hope
line,
you do.
yes, was, I don't want to know who she's not. I want to know
who she is.
Who she is.
Yes, and there was also another line. She asks about Lydia. And the detective says, yes, of course I knew. I get paid to, I'm paraphrasing, keep secrets.
You should know that.
Yeah. Which obviously means she has a lot. Now, in your mind, did you think that they're sleeping with each other too?
Oh.
I thought that's where you were going. I don't, if it is that way, fine. If it isn't, I'm certainly fine with that. I'm sure they have
I just thought it was some legal thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, if it was them sleeping around, I think for this show, like, yeah, that would work. But I think there's so much more there to be had, especially with Victoria. She has so many secrets that she's such a shady character.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why she can sense it from Emily.
And she has lie detectors, as we find out from the Sun and all that.
She used to.
And she still does.
Oh, she does?
I thought so, right?
I thought he said, before she used to do lie detectors or whatever.
I guess she doesn't anymore. I'm sure they're in the vault somewhere.
I'm sure she didn't throw them away.
Yeah.
They'll be of use to her when she finally gets Emily and tortures her to death.
Exactly. Now, obviously, and I guess it begs to be said. I mean, you kind of bring it up, but just real quick, the fact that Victoria certainly, and apart from Nolan, no one knows that it's Emily. So what do you think Victoria doesn't know, especially if she's keeping such close eyes on her?
Why? Because who in the right mind would go back?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, it's like that's the last person you think of. I wonder, though, like, I feel like people I went to elementary school with or something, I mean, some of them I recognize, they look kind of the same but older, but I just, like, am shocked that nobody recognizes her. Like, even her, best friend, Sammy recognizes her, the dog.
Sammy certainly does. Let me bring up a clip from a movie called Double Indemnity. It's from 1944, made by Billy Wilder.
That.
And this is the ending, so I'm kind of giving away something. But basically, the premise is that this one guy is basically cheating on insurance, and he's not caught. And the reason why he's not caught, we'll find out from this clip, which will help to sort of, I think, explain all of this, or at least help enlighten it. And yeah. But anyway, here's the clip. Here we go.
I'm going to call for a doctor.
What for? So they can patch me up? So they can nurse me along till I get back on my feet? So I can walk into that gas chamber up at San Quentin on my own power? Is that it, Keys?
Something like that.
I got a different idea.
Yeah?
Look, Keys. Suppose you went back to bed and didn't find these cylinders till tomorrow morning when the office opens. After that, you can play it any way you like. Would you do that much for me, Keys?
Give me one good reason.
I need 4 hours to get where I'm going.
You're not going anywhere, Walter.
You bet I am. I'm going across the border.
You haven't got a chance, Walter.
Good enough to try for.
You'll never make the border.
That's what you think. Just watch me.
You'll never even make the elevator.
So long, Keys.
Alright, I'm just gonna kind of skip ahead, if y'all don't mind.
Well, tell us what happened.
Alright, he tries to run away, but he's been shot, so he can't. And then, you know, he's looking to light a match, and then Keys, the guy, he comes, and right now he's kneeling next to him.
Fine. Somebody moved the elevator a couple of miles away.
That's a
You're on
joke.
the way.
Yeah, got that. He said you won't even make it to
No,
the
I couldn't
elevator.
figure this one, Keys. I'll tell you.
Here it is.
Because the guy you were looking for was too close. Right across the desk from you.
Closer than that, Walter.
Ooh, that's deep.
Closer than that, Walter.
I love you, too.
Did he say I love you?
Yeah. And this is where Walter lights his cigarette.
Of course, you have to. It's a black and white movie.
Mm-hmm. Now, so there you go. That was the moment I was waiting for. You know, the reason why you couldn't figure it out is because the person you were looking for was right across your desk, and of course, closer than that.
And
So-
in this case, right next door.
Exactly. And so, you know, her search, she's trying to figure out her past, but she can't, Victoria, I mean, can't literally realize, okay, this is so simple. I know who this is, rather than have to go and search for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I know this information.
And now at least we know that he, well, first said, oh, her dad just left her with a bunch of money. She does whatever she wants. She's like squeaky clean, so innocent, whatever, except for that there's 2 years of her life that no one can account for.
Which obviously is going to come back in a huge way. I wonder why, or how they're going to account for that. I'm sure she'll figure out a way. I certainly let's you and I laughed at the moment when they're having tea together, and Victoria finds out that the house that the house that Emily's staying at, she was outbid on by Emily.
Yes, because Nolan, who is trying to help her out, who is pretty much her only friend, but she doesn't trust anyone. Nolan was like bidding on the house, and then he is super smart MIT person, so he could just hack into any computer and find out all the information. Found out that Victoria was bidding against her.
But talk about I want
secretly.
you as an actress, talk about like that reaction. Like what was going through Victoria's mind? I mean, you made a point that like they both just know. Did they both? I mean, obviously, I think Emily knew, but did Victoria know? Based off of her reaction,
Did Victoria know that Emily knew?
that Emily did something, or she did something dirty, or like, you know, she was basically what's the term? Showing it in her face or whatever. You know what I mean?
Right. As much as they hate each other, Victoria recognizes something in Emily that is like her. So that's why she doesn't trust her.
Interesting. But
That's how she knows. So
yes or no? Do you think she knew that like Emily did something skeevy
Yeah.
to do that?
Yeah.
Interesting. All
I
right.
think so. Because it's always, and especially people like that, it's always 2 steps ahead of everybody else.
And that's why, I mean, I one of the reasons that I love this show is that it's so brilliant. Obviously, the whole tea party, just a huge facade. You know, they just absolutely
Yeah, they're
despise
just,
each
like,
other.
biting their tongues.
Exactly. And although
They're smiling and twitching their eyes at each other at the same time, giving the evil glares. There's like so many of them, and they last like a minute.
But like, I love, it just paints that world so much because Victoria, I think it could be anybody, and she like that's her world, is to make sure that she's in full control. She would do this with anybody.
Yeah.
But obviously more so with Emily because she's unknown to her.
And she wants to do it with her son.
That's right. Speaking of the son, real quick, apparently he was with a cocktail waitress. What do you think happened there? I mean, it's a point of contingency where they spent a lot of money on this kid, and he has not obviously lived up to anything, really.
It's the classic poor little rich boy case. And this is in all these like dramas and a lot of these, like Gossip Girl and whatnot. But basically, and obviously it's a lot of pressure, but basically the parents have so much money. They invest in him, in his education, and the fact that he could do everything, but without his own drive and ambition, then he has nothing.
I mean, I think part of the problem, whenever there's so many secrets that he to some extent, I don't think he cares for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be involved, and that's why he doesn't have the ambition, because having that ambition means, okay, I have to be like my mother. I have to be conniving, scheming. I have to have lie detectors and private detectives and
be crazy.
Exactly.
And
put on this facade and have tea and stuff like that.
He's obviously good at it because he knows how to do it well.
Exactly. But like, imagine, someone, it's one thing to look unkempt, but it's a whole nother thing. Okay, you just jogged, you came home, and you know what I mean? Like, to your house, of course you're going to be sweaty. And, anywhere else, I would feel, that would be acceptable. Whereas it's made
not to Victoria.
So, I mean, so I think for me, that's why he's not going that route, is because he sees what's with the mother, and he just doesn't like it. He doesn't like that lifestyle. He doesn't want to be that person.
Yeah, but he already is that person.
Why do you say that?
Well, I'm just saying he's good at it. He's learned how to survive. And he said to Emily, his dad already has his office picked out for him. He has no choice.
I think the season arc for him is going to be try to make that choice and get away from that.
Right. But then will the parents financially support him?
Obviously not, but I think that's the big conundrum for him is, obviously I have to get supported and things like that, but, I really don't want to be that person. So, anyway, moving on to sort of, I guess the primary plot.
Mr. Harmon?
Yes.
Yes.
He's the man to get taken out this week.
Lied, testified against Emily's dad, and lied. It was his fault, and he said that it was Emily's dad that effed up. But he got insider trading, and she totally screwed him over. Made him put everything.
Very smart move.
Yeah.
I like that, and what I liked about it was it kind of reminded me. Obviously, it's not a heist movie or something like that, but like to some extent, like a hint of Ocean's 11 or any of those movies.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where she turns to Nolan and says, or he says, what do you need from me? You just did it. And all it was a hug, and,
yeah,
that's
definitely
what convinced them all.
Yeah, definitely. It's all played out. It's all a game. It's choreographed.
But he was so trusting. I love that. For me, I'm just baffled because it was such a good plan. You know what I mean? This betting man who he lives by the insider knowledge. That's how he made his money. People like that told him where to put it in, and immediately, he hit the phone button and said, buy. And this time, nope.
He hit the phone button. Well, I think that also it helps that he thinks, obviously she's like educated, but for all he knows, she's like totally trusting him, is what it seems like, and that she is, really nice and like a girl. I just think that he doesn't expect that kind of deceit from someone like her.
Yeah. And the bet, or not the bet, the idea to buy it seemed pretty innocent enough of like, oh yeah, someone told me I should buy it.
Yeah.
Like she certainly didn't come off as innocent and naive.
Yeah.
But I think again he thought it was playing to his hands because she was very trusting of him and kind of like whatever, she looks up to me and I'm the one in control. And this show has a lot to do with who's in control. Obviously, any of those kind of big societies, that's what it's all about. Certainly is for Victoria.
Yeah, and control and money have a lot in common.
And what you know, too.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
In this society, certainly. But what do we think happens to him?
I like how she got all those numbers and called all of them after he was like, don't tell any of our investors, whatever. But I like how...
well, that was, of course, the first thing that she would do.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Well, it was, it's always very smart. So, by the way, people, for those of you listening, be careful with, like, who sees your passwords. I know it's, like, an awkward thing if, like, someone's, you're showing someone something to just be like, hey, can you look away? I just got to type in my password. But really do that. Because guess what? Stuff like that will happen. And
you'll have billions of dollars worth of investment information.
By the way,
like on Phil's phone.
Yes, I have a password on my phone. You just have to. Again, in this day and age, you just have, especially with like smartphones, I'm just telling you people, don't take my advice and see what happens. You have all your email passwords. You have all of this to make it simpler for you. So guess what? Just put one password to protect all those passwords. And don't let anyone else have access to that. The one nitpick...
Your AfterBuzz message for the day.
That's right. That's right.
AfterBuzz. AfterBuzz. AfterBuzz.
Now, the one part of the show that I really would have liked to see that they didn't show, maybe it's like a deleted scene, they just didn't have time for it, is I'm just going to assume this was his secretary, but she says, how do you want to handle the outside? And he's like, what? Obviously, it's all the news reporters, and we don't see him have to own up to that.
Well, we see him walking out, remember, like on TV or on her computer screen? All we do is see him walking like within all the camera, all the craziness, and everyone's like asking him stuff and hounding him, and he's just like, no, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. Well, but what the real interesting part is, and probably will happen next episode, is how he will take responsibility for it. Mm-hmm. Or if there's someone he could just pass it off on, like last time.
What's interesting, I'm surprised Victoria didn't, like, I imagine she has word of this, but, she would be very interested to know what happened.
Oh, with Emily?
No, with him, with the guy.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, either she's really blinded by having to deal with Emily, or, again, if anything, that just shows a weakness on Victoria's part. And that's how you get her, because if she's focused on one thing, you can attack her from the side.
I think that's exactly what Emily is thinking.
So yeah, again, just a really fun plot. I don't know how much more I can talk about it, but just fun. Any last thoughts on that?
Nolan, I like him. He's cool. Why won't anybody be his friend?
I don't know. Nolan, he's a very strange character because he's so smart. And even what's tough is I don't understand why Emily isn't all gung-ho for him. You know what I mean? I understand she doesn't want help. But as we sort of learn more and more, Nolan is a genuine guy. At least for me. Do you believe that?
Yeah, I think he doesn't have the social graces to pretend or the need or want to. He doesn't have to. He's gotten by his whole life being intelligent, and so he hasn't had to develop all of those skills that everybody else did. And the thing is, I think that she's gonna go all the way with it. So if something happens where basically everything's out in the open and she is, I don't know, put in prison for life or gets in really big trouble, she doesn't want him to get in trouble too.
I think it's that, but I also think the less people know, if she plays it closer to the chest, she has more control.
Exactly.
Whereas if the more people know, then you have to trust those people. And right, the title of this episode is Trust. And at the end, you can only trust yourself. And anytime you put that information out there, you just don't know how it's going to get spread.
It's true.
Whether sometimes purposefully, other times by accident. So, especially something this deep for her, she just needs, again, I think, like, if she could, she definitely wouldn't want Nolan knowing, and all she wants is Nolan knowing now. That's the only person.
Yeah, definitely. And I don't think Nolan's going to tell anyone.
I don't think so either. I think, I think it would work to Emily's benefit if she just trusted Nolan. Obviously, he wrote off the house in her name. He's proven to her, I think.
He's basically forever indebted to her.
Yes, and I think it's good that she heard that story today. That she heard about that the father was the only one who believed in him. Yeah, and that's why he has what he has.
Yeah. He took personal cash out of his account.
Yes, to do that for Nolan, and both have equal shares in the company. He has 49. She has 49.
Yeah, but she said like, I don't want the company. They were fighting about it. She said she didn't want to have anything to do with it.
Again, because I think just a worry for her, and it could be traced back and all that.
Yeah.
So I think the less traces there are, the better. Mm-hmm. Which I'm still, I want to know. I think as we go on, that'll kind of be the big thing, is this trace. How did she change her identity? How was she able to pull off what she's pulling off?
Yeah.
Without anybody knowing, except for Nolan, of course.
Yeah.
All right. Jack and his family. I still don't know where they fully fit into the story.
They're the Brooklyners of Gossip Girl.
Okay. Explain what that means for anyone who doesn't know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, there's the Upper East Siders. There's like the rich and the wealthy, and then to bring you back down to earth, there's the Brooklyn gang, and that's basically like Dan, and they aren't just rolling around in money like everybody else. They're real people that have to deal with real consequences and don't have the money to save themselves. So, I think that people want to root for those guys.
I want to root for them too. This isn't a complaint. It's more of an observation. But again, they're getting very well set up. And for me, I just can't wait to see what their full purpose is. And I think it's leading down to a path where Jack is going to find out about Emily being Amanda. Mm-hmm. Especially, we know how much that means to him. The boat's name, that, everything.
And Sammy.
And Sammy knows, the dog, yes, of course. And so I think he's on his way to becoming an ally. And I think we're going to see something really huge happen with that.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited for that. I think that in this episode, the guy got beat up, and then the dad had a heart attack, and they're like going to lose the business, and the dad got all mad about it. So I wonder what they're going to do with the dad. Well,
in many ways, I don't think if this was the last episode for the dad, I'd be fine with it, because here's what it would do. I don't think you need that character anymore. I think he served his purpose. You know what I mean? The business is saved to a degree, and you still have the boat, and Jack's dreams are sort of intact to some extent. Losing the father would harm, would upset, obviously, the two sons. And so, okay, who's responsible for that? Well, obviously, Charlotte and, Charlotte's boyfriend. But indirectly, Charlotte.
Homies.
Yeah, and so it only gives Jack more reason to want to get revenge.
Yeah.
And help Emily once he does find out.
At the same time, though, in their financial situation, for the story, is it worse him being sick and in the hospital and needing to be cared for with money and needing to run this business, but staying alive, but just in poor health? I think that would, to watch him suffer, I think would be worse.
You bring up a valid point. I don't know. For me personally, I don't think I'd want to see that. I think in terms of the money problems, I think at this point you have Nolan, and as hesitant as Jack may be, I think Nolan's just going to be able to take care of them, and that that's going to be. He's certainly not going to all of a sudden make them wealthy, rich, but he is going to sort of help Jack acclimate himself to this society
And save the bar.
Well, the bar's saved. Now is getting him.
Wait, how is the bar saved?
Because the sail from the boat. The sail from the boat saved the bar, but then we lost the boat. But now Nolan's giving back the boat in exchange for friendship. So
I thought that
all is well.
The boat. I didn't know that the boat like took care of everything.
Yeah, it did.
Okay.
But any other expenses that they may have, Nolan has to take care of. Again,
Yeah.
he's vested into this,
And I think he's like a good person.
I think so too. And again, it's interesting seeing these people that just don't see Nolan as that, And again, we have the benefit as the audience, but I just wish they saw that too.
You know what's interesting is like because of Emily's dad and all that situation, she has like so much hate, and because of Emily's dad and all that situation, he has so much hope.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Very, very good point.
I think that's going to be a clash, and I totally want them to like go out.
Well, I think Jack and Emily have
Jack,
the bigger thing. I think Nolan, unfortunately, is going to be always the guy kind of on the sidelines.
Always the friend.
Always the friend. And in terms of the younger brother, he certainly got cause for revenge against Charlotte's boyfriend.
Yeah.
In that whole group, and I can't wait to see that sort of unfold. Any other last thoughts before we head into our commercial?
Charlotte's boyfriend is a D-bag.
Okay, noted.
Yep.
All right, well.
Oh, wait, another reason to put passwords on your phone.
What's that?
Because of that. Because he checked the text.
Yes, there you go. So, life lessons learned for all of us. We'll be back right after this. We'll do some news and gossip, and then we'll do predictions for next episode.
AfterBuzz TV.
Hi, I was once like you, a lazy, angry loner whose only joy was watching TV and surfing the net. And, like you, after I'd see one of my favorite TV shows, I'd be so excited and have so many questions that I'd actually have to talk to my douchebag coworkers about it at the water cooler. Then I discovered AfterBuzzTV.com. AfterBuzz TV produces after-show webcasts and podcasts for TV series of all kinds, like post-game wrap-up shows for all your favorite TV shows. AfterBuzz TV hosts are industry insiders who break down episodes of shows, take calls from fans, and interview cast and crew from each series, with over 60 different after-shows, from Boardwalk Empire to American Idol to Vampire Diaries to Real Housewives, and more. Now, after a night of TV, I can ignore my stupid coworkers, who I hate, and go straight to my desk and watch or listen to all my favorite AfterBuzz TV after shows, and have all the TV fan interaction I need. Thank you, AfterBuzz TV.
AfterBuzz TV. What do you want to buzz about?
Holy
AfterBuzz TV News.
All right, so for the news this week, not a lot going on. Obviously, we're recapping the shows, but it's actually on hiatus until January.
That gives us time.
So, TVFanatic.com gave Revenge a mid-season report card of B+. Do we agree with this? I certainly don't.
B+? I think it should be a little higher.
I think A- definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. It's for me, it's not like Breaking Bad. There's so few shows out there that are so good. I mean, Breaking Bad's the pinnacle of it for me. But this is a very fun and exciting show, and I would give it an A- at least.
Yeah, I'd say A-. B+ is a little harsh. Is that after all these episodes? Or like when did they post that?
That came out recently. Let's see. And that's kind of it for this week, really. Yeah, that's it, really.
All right.
So that is your news and gossip. We'll get you more. I'm sure there's going to be more once the show, comes back on. So, but going right into it, let's get into our...
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Again, we know we're recapping this show, after the episodes have aired already. But for Michelle and I, we have not seen any new episodes. This is the last episode that we saw, the latest one.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we watched it on iTunes. We downloaded it on iTunes, so we get no preview. So these are completely made up. But what are your thoughts, Michelle?
I mean, we really talked about a lot of stuff of what we want to happen. Who do you think is going next?
I don't know if this is a pattern, but we got Lydia last week. Now this week we got someone that we didn't know from the first episode, so to some degree. And again, what's by design, we're not seeing the full photograph. You know what I mean? That she's marking these people off as they go. So I think it's going to be someone that we haven't met yet. But I'm excited to hopefully see Lydia and Herman in the mix somehow, doing something. I don't know what yet, but I think they're going to be in the mix. I think the dad's going to die. And again, for me, it's harsh to say, but I think he served his purpose. Move on, and that just
it's about a character, so
yeah,
it's not like you're saying that about a person.
Exactly. This show just gets me giddy,
Yeah.
It's just really, really fun to watch, and yet it's, it definitely makes you think.
Definitely. I want to go and watch the rest of the episodes.
Well, we certainly will. We will recap everything before the January new premiere, or not premiere, return, rather. I don't have any other predictions as of now. What I like is I'm hoping to see this as well. The first episode was an affair kind of thing that we dealt with. This time it was stalk.
You
so
like that?
No, I like the idea that we're dealing with more, different things. So it's not going to be the same thing. Like it's going to be an affair, or this business. So
Yeah.
Just
different parts of their world.
Yeah, and she's
It's
attacking
about,
them.
real estate, the house, all that stuff.
Yeah, and she's attacking them from where it hurts most for them. So, I guess that's it for our episode this week. Thank you for listening. For those of you listening to this now, it's almost Christmas time / the holidays, so happy holidays to everyone.
Happy holidays.
If you're looking for some good music, not necessarily holiday music, but very peaceful, you can certainly check out Michelle Macedo's music on iTunes by searching Macedo, Macedo. And just real quick in terms of her band, we've got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. We're excited. Can't say it just yet, but we're excited, or she's excited rather, to work with two really big singers.
Well, actually, what's really exciting right now and today is our article in the Huffington Post.
Yeah, so search Macedo,
Interview.
Huffington Post, and figure out, you'll get a lot more about Michelle.
Go to the Facebook page, Macedo Music, any of that.
And I feel like it's the perfect article for a Revenge fan because it gives a lot of Michelle's history. And, so...
I don't know if you're putting the right idea in people's heads for that.
I know, I think it is. I think you guys would enjoy it and trying to figure out, Michelle's psyche and all that. But anyway, we'll be back next Wednesday. We may do a few episodes before that, too. Who knows? We may get into the Christmas spirit and, just throw some more episodes your way. But thanks for listening. We'll be back. Let us know what you think. Give us your theories. Obviously, it helps when there's interaction. We love seeing your tweets, which you guys have been doing, and all that. Anyway, peace out. Next week.
From producers Kevin Undergaro and Phil Svitek, engineer DJ Jesse Janity, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. If you have questions or comments, be sure to buzz us at info@AfterBuzzTV.com. And you can find us on Facebook or follow us on Twitter by searching for AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.